Okay, it is 9:55 a.m. and I have one trade with SYSX, and this is actually maybe the first morning panic bounce play in a while that I'm gonna lose a little bit. I think I lost like $4 trading this, and it could have went much worse, but at the same time, this thing just traded really ugly today. I think yesterday it wasn't actually so bad, or maybe the day before. It had a very nice morning panic bounce play. It was actually yesterday, yeah. But today it just traded really ugly and gross, so I'll probably be less interested in trading this in the future unless it does something really nice. But for what it was a morning panic bounce play, and I got in right here. I wish I spent more time looking at the price action before I got in, but I did get in right here when it broke the trend line, and it was looking like it was trying to uptrend from here. You can see it had a wick here, a bottom here, and then a wick right here, so it was trying to play off of this 3 cent level. I got in at 938, 7,000 shares at 31, which was right here. And what happened is that I got in, I placed the order at 938.07, but I got filled much later in 938. And what happened was is that I got filled, but then ultimately it started to do some topping price action right here. I got filled, and then it broke this level. I would have liked it if I were to have been able to have gotten out of this very quickly in the high 290s, but that wasn't the case. And when it broke under it, it made it look like it was gonna break under the level and then immediately come back because it was a bit exaggerated. Especially you can see here how much volume was dumped, so it seems like it was going to do it. But worst case scenario, it's right here where I got my entry, it breaks it. It looks like it's going to turn around because it was just a lot of volume being dumped and a little exaggeration. And then, it makes the bottom right here at 284. And then this candle happens, maybe it uptrends a little. But then, if it were to have broken this 283 level, I would have gotten out of it for sure. But it did look like it was trying to turn around, and it just seems like that kind of thing where it just breaks an important level. Some people panic sell or whatever, it does this, and then it immediately comes back and wipes out all of that selling momentum and maybe makes a move towards the upside. So I got in. I tried to get in another 7,000 shares at 940 at 297. I did get a partial fill, almost my entire position. Right here I got in at 297, 4,693 shares, and I did immediately sell the next minute at 941 because I did not like the price action. I sold 10,000 shares right here at 3 cents, and then I sold the remaining amount at 307. And yeah, it just looked like there was too much topping action, and then the VWAP was super close here, and it did downtrend later. It is trying to get above VWAP now, but this thing traded disgusting. I kind of have been avoiding it because it's been trading really ugly. And yesterday actually wasn't bad. It was a super nice one, but today was pretty ugly. So when the stock trades ugly, it kind of jumps around like it does here. And the level 2 is useless. It just makes me less interested in trading it because it just feels really manipulative. So it makes me not want to put any more money into it. NWBO wasn't bad for what it was. This one had a downtrend from the 83s to the 77, and this one held, and they got to VWAP at 79, so it wasn't that much range, but it did come back to the level and it held it, and then that made it, yeah, slightly nicer and get to 81. That's really about it. I don't see anything else that I'm really interested in trading. This one's a little too sketchy for me. And I will continue to see what SYSX does and look for other setups, but I'm really not happy with the way this one traded in general. I at least tried my best, and I also tried to have a proper dollar risk level in mind as well. But yeah, if it's just gonna trade like this, I'm gonna just leave it alone. But it was still interesting and a good learning lesson, and I'll make an update later. Okay, it is 10:14 a.m. and I had a very quick trade with NLST. This was like a morning panic bounce play. It draws from the 440s as well as this 410 level. So roughly 10%, and then it started to work its way up. It rejected VWAP right here, but the downtrend is just a little bit, and then it was making a move, and then it broke past VWAP, and I got out of it rather quickly because I just wanted there to be stronger price action, but I think in the morning panic bounce plays that work out. I think I'm just selling them too early, so maybe I need to try to, like, I don't know, freaking tattoo on my brain that I should try selling half of my position when it starts to look a little bit uneasy, and then risk the other half of my original entry price or my original risk level. But I did get in 85 shares because this was according to a $15 risk level if in worst case scenario it breaks the day low and I am out with slippage at $4. And I was in at 420, 1011, which was right here. And it didn't immediately start to work, but it just felt kind of uneasy, the price action. But I guess this is the way this one trades. And I got out at 423, which was the top of this candle. Right now we're 423 by 424. And I guess maybe in theory I could have like a trend line off of this level perhaps. Right? And then if it breaks it, I'll be out of it for sure with the other half. And then again, I would have sold maybe half originally here at 423. And then, you know, at least if it fails, I gave it a chance and it could have went much higher and I could have sold better. So yeah, I'll make an update as to what this one does ultimately. There isn't anything else that I necessarily want to trade. Yeah, this one got as high as 35, but man, this one just trades all ugly. But I guess I need to adapt, perhaps. You know, I never really did break this level right here. At any point, I could have been in this setup and, you know, risk this level breaking, and that would have been nice, but it's just very scary the way it trades. It kind of broke VWAP here, and then it had a big red candle towards the bottom, and then it uptrended a little, and then it jumped on air. Not the best price action, but at least the pattern was there. And I will make an update as to what NLST ultimately does if it can uptrend more. Okay, it is 6:14 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I am down on the day, $1.83. I did have one more trade afterwards, and that was with ALPP, and this was oh, and don't mind this. I mean, I only have like, including this, 11 shares of QYLD. I just decided to just buy one share of QYLD, which is similar to the overall markets, but in theory it trades and offers a really big dividend, and I had a dip buy at 1780. Nothing really serious. It's not like a day trade, and it's a very tiny position. But I figured just to make the money in my E-Trade account that I never actually use for trading, do something. And I had a trade with ALPP, and it did work, but I just did not really hold on to it very nicely. And I think that's pretty much summarizing the trading today. I'm going to try to make it a rule on the morning panic balance play setup. That is working to sell half of my position only. The first time I feel like selling, whether the price action is kind of looking iffy or it just got to VWAP or something like that, I'm going to try selling half of my position. I was in ALPP at 1027, and let me get rid of extended hours so it looks better. Right here at 1027, I got in at 63 because support was building. It was looking nicer. It was higher than this level right here. Worst case scenario, I was going to cut the trade if it breaks 62, and then worst case, maybe I'm out at 60 cents. And this was a very small $5 risk level trade because it is a listed stock, not an OTC. And then what happened is that it started to work a little bit, but I didn't like the price action, how I was in it right there, and you know, I was in it right here, and it immediately did make a move towards the upside, but it just got sold off, and that just made it feel so sketchy. And I got out for a super small profit of 63 cents. I was maybe up like 4 pennies from that trade. It wasn't really that huge, and what ultimately happened is that it did make a move towards the upside. It got as high as 68, so this actually would have been a pretty profitable trade. Even with the small amount of size I had, I would have, let's just see what a sell at 65 would have been, just for an example. And again, that was trading with a very small $5 risk level, so this one was super nice for what it was. And Yeah, I feel pretty bad because it worked. It was working. It had an uptrend. It broke out of the range, but it just sold all the way near the bottom again, and it just felt iffy. But it continued to do it, and it made a super nice move with plenty of range, and well, it was well, and it broke VWAP and continued to do more. So that's really the case. I was looking at SYSX when it was breaking out of 4 here for the first time. I didn't like the price action. It kind of uptrended, but it didn't have the same volume as it did previously. And that's really about it. Just a scratch day. I need to remember to, again, sell half of my position instead of everything on a morning panic bounce play that is working. And I think with that in mind, I can be much more profitable. And if there's a setup tomorrow, I should be able to do that. At least try to and continue to get better in that sense. And that's pretty much all I have for today. Oh, and there is one more thing to note. As with NLST, what it did do is that it did follow the trend line, and once the trend line broke, it did downtrend, but it was nice that it fell back to the original breakout level, which is VWAP, and then it made a move from the 420s to the 430s, so there was definitely a move there. And yeah, just a reminder that I need to really start selling half of my position on a lot of the setups that end up working and need more time to be more profitable.